Greetings and welcome to Africa Online Media Corporation. It is another day, it is another Sunday, it is another time for us to get together to perform a duty we consider part of what we're talking about today, civic duty. How is it in your part of the world? How is the time in your country or in your region of the world? What are you about doing this day? What have you been doing this Sunday? Yes, it is a Sunday. July 13th, 2025 is the 28th day of the year 2025. Yes, the 28th Sunday, rather, of 2025. It is the 194th day of the year. We're well past the middle of the year. So that leaves us with just 171 days until the end of 2025. It is the 28th Sunday of 2025 on the 29th week of 2025 when we use the United States Standard Week number calculation. Today is the 24th day of summer. Yes, summer, and it's already so hot, even though Texas had a problem in the center of the state where there was that flood, so many lives lost, unfortunately. Our condolences to the bereaved families. That leaves us with 71 days until the end of, or rather to the beginning of fall. In this country, they call it fall. In Europe, they call it autumn. This July 13th is International Rock Day. Forget the music, not the music. It is celebrated annually on the 13th of July, dedicated to learning about geological rocks. That is why I said forget about the rock music. We're talking about geological rocks, their significance and their various types. Yes, there are various types of rocks. Today provides an opportunity, that is this celebration of the International Rock Day, provides an opportunity for individuals to delve into the world of rocks and to understand the importance of those rocks in the environment. While the origins and founders of International Rock Day remain unknown, the celebration aims to bring or rather to pay tribute to the benefits rocks bring to humanity and encourages people to explore the scientific aspects of various rocks and their practical uses. In this context, a rock is defined as a sizable mass composed of one or more tough minerals that naturally formed and broke away from larger boulders. Here in these United States, we're going to a different topic now. So here in these United States, National Cell Phone Courtesy Month lasts through the month of July. We didn't know that, but we know today, and we're moving on. So learn therefore about cell phone etiquette, and do your part to make sure that you understand that that society has a lot to do when you use your cell phone in a religious way. So keep your volume down. Don't use speakerphones in public and be self-aware. That self-consciousness allows most of us in this country in particular, and on this globe in the world, and on this globe in general, to seek to pursue not just what our topic is addressing today, civic duty, but it also teaches us responsibility. Yes, responsibility, a big word that teaches us a lot about our world. So civic duty, therefore, alludes to a responsibility, that is a quote, a responsibility expected from members of a society. That is why National Cell Phone Courtesy should mean a lot to all of us, either in the United States or in the world in general, because we live in a wider world than just a state or a country. Even if it is not a civic duty is something challenging to each of us individually. Since July 2002, National Cell Phone Courtesy Month, founded by Jacqueline Whitmore, who is a manners expert from Palm Beach, Florida, encourages cell phone users to show as much courtesy and responsibility as is humanly possible. Civic duty, our topic today, our topic of the day, that is on this 13th of July, therefore encourages us to follow the principles that citizens have as an obligation to serve their society. In return, citizens, that is, receive certain rights and protections. Some examples of civic duty in the United States in particular and in the world at large include serving on a jury, especially in the United States, and paying taxes worldwide in most countries of the world. Other civic duties are or include a responsibility expected from citizens of a country, and they include registering for selective service, again, specific to the United States, voting, which is a democratic practice worldwide, especially in democratic countries, not dictatorships. Well, even in dictatorships, they hold the elections, but the votes may be counted in a backward way so that the loser wins and the winner loses. And of course, there is one of the civic duties that we have to talk about. It is obeying the law. Yes, you have to obey the law. In the United States in particular, citizenship connects Americans in a nation bound by shared values of liberty, equality, and freedom. Being a citizen comes with both rights and responsibilities. Civic duty embodies these responsibilities. Such civic duties help uphold the democratic values of nations. Yes, civic duty, the responsibility of citizens, helps us uphold the democratic values that make the world go round, that make our world, the world in which we live, go round. Because if you live in a dictatorship, you may not really enjoy those rights. All the same, just be you, accept who you are, and let the world see you for who you are. At this point, I hand over to the chair of AfricaOnline Media Corporation, Her Highness, Reverend Dr. Pam, to welcome everyone to the unscripted discussion. Reverend, over to you.
Thank you so much, Nia Song, and happy Sunday. On behalf of AfricaOnline Media Corporation, I want to appreciate you, Nia Song, for your continued faithfulness in the last 9.5 years. I want to welcome all our viewers, those who are going to watch on YouTube and Facebook. Our guest today is running a little bit late, but he'll be on, and we are expecting the other participants to be on. So yes, civic duty it is. What does civic duty entail? Your editorial covered some of it, but I think it goes deeper than that, Nia Song. How would you expand the definition of that civic duty?
Well, civic duty means owning up and being responsible for what you do or say. It means being a faithful member of your society, of your community, and serving the community as an individual and believing, hoping that everyone else will accept your point of view, not challenge it. Even if they challenge it, they should have facts to back up what their challenge is all about. Civic duty is being responsible enough to own up to whatever you are doing or not doing, because it is absolutely necessary that you and I pay our taxes, that you and I go to the register and go to the polls to vote on election day in our respective countries, that you and I respect what we call the laws of the country, because civic duty means owning up to those things that hold society together. You don't have to challenge someone. You don't just have to accept what the other person is doing or asking of you. In these United States, there is jury duty, which is something people, you and I, are called upon once in a while to come to the courts to participate in deciding whether the judge's judgment was right or wrong, or that whether the evidence given at a trial condemns you or frees you. So the jury of peers, that is people of around your age, they come together, they listen to the case, and they pass a judgment, or they decide to go by vote. Usually there are 12 or 13 members, and they vote, the majority carries the vote, and of course they decide whether you are right or you are wrong. Also, it is obeying the law, which is the basic thing. because in every country there are laws. The laws were not made to punish, they were made to control, to make sure that everybody lives a comfortable life. I think I see our main guest trying to log in now and coming.
No, he is in and he's wearing his chief cap.
Yeah,
Love your cap, Honorable Straughter. You look good. Kindly unmute yourself. Good to see you. Looks like you're driving.
All right, yes, I'm in the car, so I apologize, but it's so good to see you again and to be a part of this.
I'm sorry I didn't show my face, but take a minute and introduce yourself to our viewers that will be seeing you for the first time. You haven't been on for a while.
Well, first and foremost, let me thank you for this wonderful platform to reach out people, to talk about the global African diaspora, to bring us together on important issues that are impacting the world. And it's so good to have you to make this personal sacrifice to help us communicate with each other. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. You're welcome. Yeah. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. So Doc, and I see you here too. You're looking great yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I like your cap.
Right.
Yes.
So listen, currently I am the Chairman Emeritus of the Mayor's Commission on African and Caribbean Immigrant Affairs for the City of Philadelphia. We have about 125,000 African and Caribbean immigrants in Philadelphia from 35 different countries. And thanks to my sister, the Honorable former Councilwoman Janie L. Blackwell, over 20 years ago, we organized this commission. We meet the second Tuesday of every month for the last 20 years. We haven't missed a meeting. We take off July and August for our summer break, but we'll continue to move forward. I'm also the chairman of the board of the African Caribbean Business Council of Greater Philadelphia, and we have significant business programs and activities going on with many of the African and Caribbean nations that are part of our community here in Greater Philadelphia. So from the business and also the academic side, as well as the government side, we continue to work forward to make one people here in Philadelphia to work together. So thank you again. And then, as we go through questions and answers, I'll be very happy and honored to answer any questions that may arise. Okay.
Thank you so much, Honorable Stan. I really love your outfit, especially the cap.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. So we are discussing civic duty, and it just so happened, I just came across, when I was trying to send you the link, I noticed that last year on June 21st, you were on discussing the same topic. And it's not like I did that research before we came up with the topic. So the Lord wanted you to be here this year, exactly 1 year from when you were here. So thank you so much. God is so amazing. All right, Niasom, I'll let you pose the first question to Honorable Stan.
Honorable, please refocus on that because we're seeing only your shoulder, your right shoulder. So please reschedule. I mean,
he's driving though. He's driving.
Yeah, so the camera is
no, that's okay. He needs to keep his eye on the road.
Yes. Okay, there you are. There you go.
I'm so sorry.
Yes. So for a layman on the streets in, say, Africa, Accra, or wherever, what is civic duty? Given a layman's perspective, what should civic duty entail?
Well, let me first and foremost say, obviously, Doc, as you know, without civic duty, we have chaos in our societies. And some of these, some of the civic duty, it may be a difficult word, but a lot of the civic duty comes from traditional practices and practice in our homes, our community, even our villages. So it's not just, it's bringing order to society in a massive way that it can help promote growth, economic growth, job growth. These things are important in our communities, especially as we advance and especially as we tend to compete with European societies around the world as we go forward. And we are constantly talking about, from an African and Caribbean perspective, we're constantly talking about the need to have economic growth, to own our own resources, and to have our own people in charge. But this is what the civic order and civic duty is about. That's why in the United States, we pledge allegiance to the flag, we sign the Constitution. There's also a Declaration of Independence. All those are examples, at least in the United States national level, to help bring about order and to bring about collective promotion of the state, the country, and even our cities in Philadelphia. So, Philadelphia as an example. So, civic duty and civic order is from one's own self that we contribute to the wholeness of society, but it begins at the individual level straight up to the national level. In our country, the Constitution, Declaration of Independence. That's why when there's an issue in our country, and you see it going on now, no matter how bad Donald Trump is, he has to continue with the courts. The court system will be able to decide as the final arbiter of anyone who, and it goes from the local courts to the state courts, all the way up to the Supreme Court. So let me stop there and make sure I'm on the right track, Doctor. Please.
So how is civic duty different than or similar to or the same as civic responsibility?
Yes, it is. I've attempted to define it as both. They're interchangeable. Civic duty and our civic responsibility. One is at the individual level as an individual, and the other one is our duty in accordance with society, meaning in local society, whether it's a village or traditions, or even whether it's a national government. So I'm trying to make that a distinction, but it's the unity of those things that keep us going on. Personal responsibility as well as our duty to the state, to the government, those things, right?
So those apart. Now, are there other responsibilities that the citizen is supposed to own up to?
Did I say that one again now?
Yes, civic duty, civic responsibility, it looks more at the citizen. So what does the citizen also have to do to be seen as responsible in his society?
Well, I think the best example I can give you, I agree. And the example is our civic duty from responsibility goes to the collective opportunity for the society to come and be a part of our civic duty. For instance, if the government says you can't wear a gun, then that's your duty to follow the law. The government says that you cannot run a red light. There's order in the society, and that order pertains to all of them relative to your personal responsibility to be a citizen, to follow the governance in the areas of governance. Each level of government has a constitution, but it all starts from the bottom up, from the people. That's why we say in the United States, government of the people, for the people, and by the people. There's not supposed to be any monarch or king or chief. It's the people's government, and they elect the people who represent them in the city council, the state government, and the United States government. It's a representative body. And our responsibility individually builds to the national thing that we comply with the laws that help create and govern society. It is a compliance of those things that we do as an individual citizen. Even the president of the United States, despite what we see now with this gentleman that's in the White House, even the president of the United States, ultimately the Supreme Court, the Congress, and the House and the Senate are arbiters of finally. That's why there's some laws that the Senate and House Representatives must look at and go through. He cannot just arbitrarily write those laws. But we're seeing an inspiration in this right now. It's being tested. Donald Trump is testing the Constitution and the constitutionality of the individual bodies of government. That's what we're witnessing now. So we'll see some very interesting precedents involved as we go forward. But it's going to test his personal responsibility to deal with the governance of the United States of America. He as an individual can't do this. That's what's being tested, being adjudicated by the Supreme Court as we go forward. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. In my introductory remark, I mentioned taxes, paying taxes as one of the civic responsibilities. Was I right or was I wrong?
No, taxes. Oh, of course, you're right. You're 100% correct, Doctor. Taxes is a civic duty. It's one that finances the government and the governance of our society at the city, state, and federal level. Each level of government have the taxing mandate, and those resources are used to manage the society. That's why we always argue in our society, and even in other societies, the taxes that are imposed upon people are attempted to demonstrate how those are used in the benefit of our people. That's why we always talk about the taxpayer. And what is the taxpayer getting for his or her resources and their tax money that's being contributed? So taxes, paying your taxes, is a civic duty, and it's something we must continue to have as we go forward. One of the things that we're being tested now with this current bill submitted by President Donald Trump is who pays the taxes and how much of what they pay. This is a historic time because he is saying we're going to take money from this government and give it back to the richest people in our society. He called it a tax break, but the billionaires and millionaires are receiving the benefit of return of taxes, and the tax penalty on them will not be as severe as it is on other people at the end of in our society. So it's something that's very controversial at this time. I would suggest that we all keep our ear to the ground to know what it is, and more importantly, there's going to be a serious constitutional argument as we go forward, and these taxes come into play over the next 3 to 5 years.
Thank you for that. I see Dr. Crosslin has just joined us. Dr. Crosslin, we are talking about civic duty. Have you a question or have you a remark before we turn back to our guests? Dr. Crosslin, on mute, please.
Oh, hi, civic duty. Yeah, everyone needs to educate themselves on their own situation, and unless they are and
Dr. Crosslin, you're breaking up. You're breaking up. Maybe you are driving. Yes. And Honorable, when we talk about taxes, there are different kinds of taxes that people pay. We have income taxes, we have payroll taxes, we have sales taxes, we have property taxes, that is taxes on your property, landed property. We have real estate taxes, which are real estate taxes again, if I repeat myself, and excise taxes, which have to do with collecting money from business people. So am I right in all these various types of taxes that we have to pay?
Yes, that is correct. These are the various taxes we have to pay. But I want to also remind you that this nation was founded on taxation without representation. The Revolutionary War was fought against the British because they were taxing us. Yeah. Remember the Boston Tea Party. So taxing, you don't take it lightly. We do have a responsibility to pay taxes and to help maintain the ongoing nature of society. But you don't want the taxes to be overly burdensome on the masses of people. And as a consequence, what happened in 1776, there was a war called a Revolutionary War based upon the principle of taxation without representation. Now, you do need to run the government, and in the government, there's areas where the people, the society says, okay, we will tax them. Some, as you mentioned, were payroll taxes, where on the level of the city, state, and federal government, we pay taxes by virtue of based upon your earnings. It could be a percentage in the by city, state level. It's all over the circumstances. Some of those taxes are matched by the employer, and some are matched by the federal government, okay, as you go forward. So that's one. The big issue now is taxes on trade, and you see what's going on now. They're called duties, and that's a big issue because when you put these duties on these imported products, those duties get right back to our consumers. So if you buy, when you hear the president say he's going to put a 50% duty on a product, and let's say it's a computer or a cell phone, and those people pass those taxes on to pass that duty on to you and increasing the prices. So you want to be able to evaluate the level of tax that you pay as a society, and that's the big argument we're having now. And as it relates to the president and this notion of duties, he thinks that the duties that he's imposing on these people like Brazil, a 50% duty on products built from Brazil. So if you're here in the United States and you're buying those products, or it could be agricultural products, you are paying that penalty that he is imposing on them. And it goes around whether it's that's why I'm hopeful that all of our people on this line are following this discussion about duties, because you are paying it as a consumer. At the end of the day, you are paying it, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. You are paying those duties or that's being imposed. At the state level, we have sale taxes at the state level. The sale tax for many of the things that we buy here in our society is a state tax. And I know, and I lived in Africa, many African countries and European countries, they don't have a sales tax. They have what they call an added value tax. So it's an opportunity for them to get at the same issue, how to raise money, but it's called added value tax, and it's calculated on your purchases in a particular country or in a society where you are. So all those taxes are very important and different, and some societies don't have different taxes by virtue of it. I'm sorry, I've been trapped. Okay. But
yes,
Doctor,
go ahead.
I was just checking to make sure I got to the essence of your question there.
I want to turn to Reverend Pam to see if she has an opinion or she has a point to raise, and then ask you a question. We tried to get Dr. Crossley, but she was breaking up and cut out.
No, yeah, she's back. But Honorable Stan, thank you so much. Please keep your eyes on the road, please. That's important.
Yes.
You know, yeah, I was just trying to, go a little bit further to say, I think being a good neighbor is a civic duty, a civic responsibility. I think there are situations where people's neighbors have sent them into mental hospitals or created fear and discomfort for them, or undue stress that affected their health. Some neighbors have actually created an early death for their neighbors. So I believe being a good neighbor should be considered part of civic responsibility, because even though there are certain things about the laws, but there's some things, we're not saying that, oh, you should fetch water for your neighbor or mow your neighbor's lawn. That's not what we're talking about. But not being a hostile neighbor, would you consider that a civic responsibility? Dr. Crossley keeps having, I don't know where she usually zooms in from. She's always having connectivity problems. But Honorable Stan, let's hear your take on that, and then so we'll go to you.
I think this you've created a good example by raising the question. And of course, being a good neighbor is probably the number one thing as we get a chance to practice our civic duty and our civic responsibility. That begins at the neighbor level, whereby we have such horrible things happening these days. I shudder to mention them, where a white neighbor goes out and kill a black neighbor. I mean, can you imagine people living in that kind of fear in today, 2025? That's what we are experiencing. And Dr. Pam, when you talk about being a good neighbor, this is at the fundamental level of how our civic duty is responsible. As responsible persons should work for that. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Nielsen, before you go, let's see if Dr. Crossley is able to speak. Dr.
Yeah.
Crossley, kindly unmute yourself. We're talking about civic duty. Kindly unmute yourself. You are Miss Senior Virginia World, and I'm sure you have come across on your platform or during your beauty pageant, your beauty walk, you've come across some civic duties. So let's hear your take on it.
Okay, so everybody's experience is going to be different, and everybody's perspective is going to be challenged even within their own philosophy on life. And it's just that I have believed, and hopefully what I believed 10 years ago, hopefully I've educated myself so that I can do better. Because my civic duty first is to myself, and that's to educate myself, to ensure that I'm educated so that I can teach those around me. And that's one of the reasons I like this program, is because it helps me to fulfill my civic duty as being a community leader, as Miss Virginia Senior World. And that's what I do every day, all day long. I attended church this morning, not my own church, but someone who doesn't look like me. I attended their church. And what I discovered is they have the same issues as, okay, they're a white church, but they have the same issues as the Black church, because people are people. You know, white people, you guys probably heard me say this before. White people do drugs, Black people do drugs. You know, so we need to stop saying it's everybody else, and they need to point the fingers at themselves and see how they can be part of the solution. Thank you.
Again, you're breaking up, Dr. Crossley, unfortunately. Honorable Stan, I know we come back to you, but as Reverend Pam said, keep your eyes on the road, please. We don't want to, we don't want anything to happen. Is there another important civic responsibility that we should mention, apart from paying taxes?
Well, I want to follow up on what I heard from the doctor before me, because she gets back to what the point that you raised, how important it is that personal responsibility that builds up. So I think she said the same thing that you and I have been talking about with Dr. Payne around personal responsibility and how it relates to civic duty, and that the opportunity to deal with oneself first. That's why we go to college, we go to school, we go to university for self-improvement, so that we can be better and more informed citizens of our society and do greater things. So I just wanted to follow up on her remarks, because it is very important to understand what self-improvement is and how we can go about improving ourselves. Of course, Dr. Pam's work here with this communication thing is another area of self-improvement, so we can learn more, know what's being said, be aware, and make a contribution to the improvement of society. So this is good. I want to thank her for her remarks also. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Stan. A lot of times when people hear civic duty, they just think about voting, and paying taxes, but it's a little bit more than that. And I'm proud to say our sister organization on our 12-strand systemic mentoring system, which was adopted from the Timbuktu Academy as the 10 strands. And that program won 2 presidential awards, one from Bill Clinton, another from George W. Bush. I personally added 2 strands to it to make it 12. Strand 11 is leadership, specifically seven leadership, and strand number 12 is civic duty, because our young people on the continent need to be sensitized to their civic duty. And I am proud to say we're launching that program this coming Saturday. you know, and we have a lot of students from the continent who have registered for the program. You know, we go through the 12 strand systemic mentoring system, then we admit them into the STEM program. But the thing is, our young people, Honorable Sir, you know, this their generation. Some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them, it's about them. It's about their individuality. They don't think about the community. They don't think about the society. They don't think about their colleagues. It's mostly me, myself, and I. How do we get these young people, the Gen Zs and the Alphas are still young and the Betas are being born, but the Gen Zs in particular, how do we get them to get involved, you know, and actually own this civic responsibility or civic duties? Honorable Straughter.
Thank you very much again, Dr. Pam. One of the things I would just say very clearly is we are failing these young people in our education systems. We must build, first and foremost, make, especially on the continent of Africa, make sure that these young people get access to education. You educate them, number one. Second, the next thing after the education is the content of the education. These are the things that you and Doc are bringing to the table today. Responsibility, civic responsibility, we learn that in school. You know, we learn that in school, in the universities. We go to primary school, to high school. These are the lessons we learn. And some of these things might be a little different than traditional values in our tribe or our family, but we navigate all of them, and we learn that they work together to create a wholesome and true society where people will work to benefit the society as opposed to individual. Now, that said, we do have a problem. The problem is capitalism. Our capitalist system teaches one for one, and after we make it, we'll help some people out. This is a problem in our capitalist society today, and as a consequence, we have this very difficult notion where it's all for me. And our children are watching that. They're growing up understanding that our society is doing something for each individual and not doing anything for the whole. Let me give you another example, because one of the things that we have to deal with, and you guys know this, in many European societies that have national health. People don't have to pay for health care. And here we are, the richest society in the world, and we're having people suffer from having lack of access to health care, all those many, many things that we have to deal with. So we have some problems, but the mechanism by which we change that will be in our advocacy, in our promotion, and as well as in our vote, because we want societies to believe and to see and to understand that healthcare should be right for everybody. And that's what we have to continue fighting for. We're fighting that every day, and certain people don't believe that, though. So this is the struggle we have in learning the values, Dr. Pam, in the school system, in the society where we are teaching this wholesomeness and this one important thing, and that is the perpetuation of a wholesome society. Well, these are elements that we have to continue to work towards day in and day out. Okay, so the education is the utmost importance as early as possible. Here in the United States, and then I'll be quiet. Here in the United States, we have preschool that's being funded by taxpayers because education is so important. The earlier you get exposed to have children exposed to education, the better off society will be. So I just say that. Thank you again.
No, you are so right. You hit the nail right on the head. And like you said, as early as possible. So it actually goes back to the home for the parents to also educate them, to make sure, the parents, they explain to them the importance of voting when they come of age, because people died just so that they could get voting rights, you know, of paying their taxes because it's the law. And, you know, but what is the role of the media? Niason, you are a retired professor of journalism. You are a retired journalist. I want you to weigh in on the role of the media or journalists in this on this topic.
Unfortunately, in this country at this time, the media seems to be going out of its way because it looks like there are more partisan journalists than journalists. Because a journalist reports without fear or favor about issues happening in his or her society, whether it is for the whites or the blacks, whether it is for the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, no matter. So the journalist is supposed to be neutral in reporting. Unfortunately, these days, you don't know what channel to listen to. You don't know what radio station to listen to because the opinions being expressed by the journalists who ought to be neutral reporters are more partisan than ever before. But generally, journalism is supposed to be one of the key educators in society, making sure that they report indifferently, no matter whose horse is or whose cow is God, I don't know how to say it again, whose horse is hurt or whatever, they should report neutrally without favoring one party or the other, without favoring one race or the other. We should be neutral reporters, neutral fighters in the field of mass communication. Mass communication means educating generally without fearing who you are informing, without respecting opinions of individuals in this or that camp. You give your news because you gathered it with all the facts that you could get. You cross-check the facts, and you give the news out as neutrally as possible. Unfortunately, mass communication these days, not only here, but almost becoming part of the entire world, is becoming something else. So I begin to fear that the media may be losing it and becoming too partisan.
So what about on the continent?
That's what I mean. On the continent, the media are partisan as long as they are reporting, well, depending on from what angle they are reporting. If you are reporting for a government-owned newspaper or radio station, you favor the government. If you are on the street reporting for the street newspaper, for the common newspaper, you report neutrally as best as you can. So on the continent, journalism is becoming something else. Partisan reporting is more prevalent than neutral reporting. So it's unfortunate, but the journalists on the continent, some are waking up, some are not. Those who are paid by the government, they say he who pays the piper calls the tune. So those who work for government newspapers, government television stations, government radio stations, they report in favor of the government while the other journalists report for the common people. It shouldn't be so. All journalists should report equally, neutrally.
Well, thank you so much. I'll hand the mic back over to you.
Well,
yeah,
Honorable, go ahead.
I'm just going to say I appreciate your analysis of what it is, but I'm concerned. I'm 83 years old, and we're talking about journalists being killed for reporting truthfully.
That's
all around
true.
the world. The highest rate of death among these journalists, whether they're in Gaza or the United States or Rwanda, these journalists are being assassinated for reporting from their side. And the opportunity for free press for you and I is clear. As you pointed out, Doctor, we need to have a fair and balanced media. And even if the government owns it, the government, you just can't lie to the people. And that's what you and I are witnessing now. We're witnessing on the continent of Africa, opposition candidates just being locked up, some dropped up charge. That's bad, but right here in the United States, we're seeing journalists being drummed out of their job because they said something in opposition to what these other people are saying, and so they're just being drummed out. So we have to be clear. This gets back to go back to the theme of this particular show, our theme being associated with civic responsibility and our personal responsibility. You know, we cannot let these people continue to lie and create their own truth. Remember, right. These people are creating something that's in opposition to us to maintain their power. whether it's here in the United States.
Unfortunately, yeah. I say it's
So
unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yes, yeah. So we as the people and our personal responsibility and our civic duty has to fight to maintain the integrity of the press, as Doc pointed out earlier, the integrity of the press and a level of truthfulness that can best be told to our people and to the people of the world. So I just want to end on that one then, okay?
Yes, and responsibility should not be only for the journalists, should also be for the party people. They should also know that they have some responsibility vis-a-vis the journalists or vis-a-vis the reporters, because when you bully them or you bully at them or you threaten to shut them up or lock them up, you are intimidating them and you are making it difficult for them to perform as neutrally as they should.
It should also go for the people that they work for, the news outlets, the owners of the channels, and the various press, whether it's print press or reporting, whatever it is, whoever signs the checks, writes the checks of the journalists should also be responsible, because when they put out these alternative facts, we are confusing the young people. They don't really know what their civic duty is. Is it what this particular channel said or what this other particular channel said? So there's a lot of challenges out there. But Nia Song, I think in 4 minutes we'll start doing the round, because we're gonna make the show one hour.
Okay, that's it. Dr. Crossan, do you have something else to add, please, before we start the round? Or you can just wrap that up with your round, with your last word.
So, you know, as always, I want to thank Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Reverend, I always call her Reverend Pam Thumanung, for her excellent thought in her topics and for this platform.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And for all that she does in wanting to be part of the solution. And can you guys imagine if we had 1,000 more of her?
So are you, Miss Virginia, Senior Virginia Well. So are you. It's team effort.
And I tell you, that the church that I was telling you guys about that I went to, it was a white church. And a white church that is the same as, like, say, a Black church. I would say probably their giving would be like $4,000 a month. So take that white church and take a Black church that has the same income level. Mm-hmm. And I was afraid. I was like, oh my God. So, you know, civic duty. I don't commit crimes because I don't want to be not treated fair, because I already know the justice system is going to look at the color of my skin first. So as a Black person, I'm not going to be out there committing crimes. And when I worked for LAPD, that's why I left, because every nanosecond, not minute, not 5 minutes, I mean, every single breath a person would breathe, the phones, more than one of them, ringing off the hook, Black on Black crime.
Mm.
Me, myself, I got shot twice.
What?
Driving to work. So when people hear my voice or see the crown, they think, you know, oh, she doesn't know anything, you know, Sally Foo-Foo, and they talk to me in weird ways. And it's because people don't respect themselves.
That's right.
So they're not going to, I don't expect for them to respect me. So, and I know for a fact that there is injustice. I wrote a book about it. I know I'm not going to be treated fair, but it does hurt me when another Black person shoots me. It does hurt me when I hear another Black person say that someone hurt them that was white, or even if they have a perspective that white people don't even like them. So this world needs to have a coming to God moment that remains more than just 9/11, more than just a tornado or a fire or a flood. Because the truth is what the word of God says, which is tribulation, which is Antichrist. And no one wants to have those hard conversations because they don't want to agree that there is one God. And that's fine. He doesn't need me to stick up for him or any of that unless he specifically gives me the green light to even say anything. And if people think Trump is so powerful that he is the problem to their livelihood, wow, they haven't really thought it through, a solution to their own situation.
Right.
And so I know you guys, I want to yield my mic.
Yes.
But I just want to tell from my perspective, I know there's one God and his name is Jesus. And I can't sell him. I can't trade him. He's free. And he's already paid the price. And if somebody doesn't want to follow him, that's their choice because he created us to be our own free will agents to his salvation. So with that said, my civic duty, I take it very seriously. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Reverend, Your Royal Highness, Your Royal Majesty, Your Royal Highness, while giving your wrap up or your last word, first tell us what are we doing next Sunday?
Next Sunday, as a circle of this, we're going to be discussing leadership, specifically servant leadership. That's what we're going to be discussing next Sunday. And I just want to thank Honorable Stan, for his faithfulness. He's been here multiple times. Every time we've called him over the years on different topics, whether it was prejudice, stereotype, discrimination, he will come on. And it just so happened that exactly 1 year ago, he was on here talking about civic duty. I had no idea that. I just thought about civic duty, and it was when I was sending him the link today, I realized that he was here last July. I think it was the 21st, talking about this. So thank you so much, Honorable Stan, and you look really good. Keep it up. You don't look your age at all.
You.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Dr. Crossley, thank you so much for your faithfulness, for all your kind words. I truly appreciate you. Keep doing what you are doing, especially with Mr. DC lifting up our men, and because if we don't lift them up, nobody else will. Nia Song, you are amazing. You are truly a legend. Thank you so much for your faithfulness. Our co-anchor, Ambassador Lisa, is at a wedding. She's not able to be here. To all our listeners, thank you. I want to put a plea out there. We need some.
Your Highness, don't go away yet. Don't go away. Don't wrap it up yet, Reverend Stan. Honorable Stan still has to make a last word.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Okay.
We need, I know that we need students. We need student interns to help us on this show. We have 9.5 years of content, and we need some students to help us push this content on social media. Over to you, Nia Song.
Honorable Stan, please, before we wrap it up, give us your last word on civic duty.
Well, thank you very much. And again, I want to thank Dr. Pam for Her Royal Highness for opening this channel for communication and to make people aware. This is probably the most important aspect today because they don't get information and education on civic duty in school. Very few. The elite schools do, but the schools that many of our children go to, they don't get this kind of discussion, this rich discussion. And this is important that this type of communication platform continue to grow and expand across our community, especially across the global African diaspora. So I want to commend you for doing this and this opportunity. For my part, I'm available to be here with you and the team anytime. It's an honor to be here, and whatever little bit I have learned, or I'm more than willing to contribute my experiences to show this group and this platform how we have accomplished some things, some we've attempted to do and failed, but it's all the learning process. And I want to thank you again in this platform for bringing us together. So God bless all of you, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Next Sunday is going to be servant leadership. Honorable, if you can, please do Zoom in next Sunday so we can have another aspect of looking at the leadership side of the whole thing. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Crosslin, and thank you, Your Highness. It's been a great pleasure having you all on this program today, and we will call it quits for today for now, hoping that we'll all be back next Sunday. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.